John, thank you. It is Thursday. That means Jason Boyette is here to talk about his weekly podcast, Hey Amarillo. It's a fantastic interview show where you get to meet people from around the area that maybe you've seen their name or you've heard about them, but you don't know the rest of the story. And we've got a good one this week because we're talking about Howard Smith. Now, I remember seeing Howard Smith names on real estate signs for decades. And then you see him all of a sudden on the city council. But there's so much more to his story.
Oh man, he's one of those people that, yeah, you see his name everywhere. He was a school board member for several years. Mm-hmm. People my age have his name on their diplomas, you know. But he's one of those guys who has been involved in so many things over the years, but we only know just a little part. So people might know Howard Smith, the realtor, Howard Smith, the school board member, now Howard Smith, the city council member. But the cool part of his story is stuff that we don't know.
Yeah, that was when I was kind of reading through the notes for today. First of all, we'll start with the clothier. I had no idea that he was in the clothing business.
Yeah, his family was a family that owned Hub Clothier, which was like one of the iconic Amarillo retailers in the middle part of the last century. And so he got out of college, and like that was going to be his job, working there for a little bit. But he was also in the U.S. Navy. Yep. He enlisted. And the time that he was in the Navy, he was on the USS Guadalcanal, and that was one of the ships that picked up the astronauts before the moon landing. This is when they were doing practice runs, Apollo 8 and 9. Yeah. But the astronauts, after the capsule fell into the ocean,
they had to go get them.
His ship would go out there and get them. So he was like part of that story.
So what was it that pointed you toward? I'm always fascinated at the people that you interview. What was it that pointed? Because I would have just thought, oh, Howard Smith, he's a council member, all this, but would have had about the deep dive, so to speak, with him.
That's one of those things. I probably have skewed on my show to people who are a little bit younger. You know, Howard is in his 70s. He's lived in Amarillo for a long, long time, almost all of his life. So those are the people who really have stories. But I knew that he had that NASA story, and so I thought, all right, there's something that most people here won't know about him. I love to dig beyond just the surface and kind of upend expectations. And so he's able to talk about what Amarillo was like in the 60s, how it grew, you know, as someone who was selling homes, how he got into that business. And so being able to just go beyond, you know, what everybody feels like they understand about a person, I think is what is really unique about the show, because let's just let this guy talk for 45 minutes and see what kind of stories he can tell us.
I love it. In terms of what you also may not know about him is he enjoys seeing the views of Powder Canyon quite often, but it's how he does it that's pretty unique.
He is an avid mountain biker, okay? So you look at a guy in his 70s, you probably don't think, that guy's up shredding trails, you know, every Saturday, but that's what he's doing. I mean, he doesn't ride the really hard stuff, but he is a dedicated mountain biker out at Powder Canyon. That's just one of his passions. He's excited about the fall because that means fewer snakes on the trails out there. He keeps an eye out.
That's a good point. Listen, I want you guys to download this show. Whatever app that you use to listen to podcasts, go do this. It's Hey Amarillo. Jason Boyette, thank you for bringing these stories to us each and every week and giving us a little touch of Amarillo that maybe we didn't know and about the great people that call it home.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate that. Coming up on the show today, you know that we always like to have a little healthy recipe from our friend Brenda over at Market Street. Today, she's bringing nutrition to a Halloween treat. But first, Habitat for